Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rudy Page, and welcome once again to our series, our KZN Tourism series. And I'm really pleased today that we in fact have Thandi Shabalala, who is the marketing and brand manager for iSimangaliso Wetland Park Authority. Welcome, Thandi.
Thank you, Rudy. Hello, everyone.
Right, so we realized today that we're not going to see you on this particular occasion, but due to technical issues. But it's great that you can meet us here in London, in sunny London. I always have to say it's sunny London. I'm sure it's sunny where you are.
It normally is, but not today.
Okay. So Thandi, tell us a bit more about the park, where it's based, and what are the benefits?
iSimangaliso Wetland Park it's located along the northernmost part of KwaZulu-Natal, and it starts just 210 kilometers north of Durban, and it borders Mozambique to the north, with Eswatini to the west. So it's the second largest park in South Africa to Kruger National Park. So it is 1.3 million hectares in size. So it's quite a large area. It includes very well-known and popular travel destinations like Lake St. Lucia. A lot of people know the St. Lucia town. That area is part of the park. Cape Vidal, that's known for beautiful beaches, pristine beaches, and snorkeling that can be done there. Areas like Falls Bay, Umkhuze, which is a bit inland, and Sodwana Bay, are well up to Kosi Bay. So the park is quite large. And its mandate now, the authority that manages the park, its work is to protect and conserve and to present the World Heritage values for the current as well as future generations, whilst ensuring that there are benefits that go to the community, because iSimangaliso before proclamation had communities that lived inside the area. So we need to ensure that there are benefits that are given to communities. Well, so we do that through tourism and other related developments that occur in the park.
Okay, and we'll probably return to that as well, as it relates to the benefits to the local communities that would rely on the park for earning a living, but also for leisure, of course.
True.
So I understand that the park is South Africa's first World Heritage Site. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Indeed. So we were proclaimed ahead of all other now 7 World Heritage Sites that we have here. iSimangaliso was proclaimed in 1999 in recognition of its unique global values. There's actually no other place that has equal biodiversity, ecological wealth, and natural beauty of the landscapes that iSimangaliso has. The park also contains major lake systems that include the largest estuarine system in the whole of Africa, that's Lake St. Lucia. We also have the largest freshwater lake system in Southern Africa, that's Lake Sibaya. We have about 1 million hectares of the marine protected area that includes the continent's southernmost coral reefs. We also have Big 5, we have the marine mammals. So we actually have Big 7 because we have the shark, and we have the whale, the marine mammal. So there's also birds that are over 530 species in the park. We also get turtles. Out of the 7 species of turtles that we have in the world, you would see 5 in iSimangaliso, and 2 of those nest on our shores during our summer months. So there's a lot that's special in the park, and a lot of biodiversity in here. The park is a renowned World Heritage Site, where conservation and sustainable tourism benefit sharing prevails. That's our mission. it is actually an amazing, world-class kind of wilderness area.
So what is the meaning of the name? Tell us about that.
Wow, the name, it is a Zulu name. It means a miracle or a wonder. And this perfectly defines the natural attributes of the place. And at the time of the proclamation of the park, the name of the park was the Greater St. Lucia Wetland Park. And because there's a St. Lucia in the Caribbean, in America, which also happens to be a World Heritage Site, by the way, so the authorities had to come up with a new name that's unique to this area. So the name iSimangaliso then came about that. So there's a rich history behind the name as well. The first person who actually defined the beauty of the area as iSimangaliso was King Shaga's aide and his assistant. We call it in isiZulu, Insila Yenkosi. His assistant was Jeqe Buthelezi. I will ask you to say this name, Jeqe Buthelezi. And when he first came to the area, that was at King Shaga's passing. So when King Shaga passed away, that was way back in 1828. Customarily then, according to the Zulu custom, Jeqe Buthelezi as an assistant would have been killed and buried with the king. It was an acceptable custom. So Jeqe, knowing this, to dodge the fate, he came to this place of miracles. I'm sure we can all learn something from what this man did. When times are a bit challenging, one needs a place like iSimangaliso for some liberation and soul revival.
Absolutely, we need a place to go where we can reflect and decide how we're going to proceed in the future.
Jeqe showed us how.
No, that's great. And interestingly enough, obviously myself being from the Caribbean community here in the UK and heavily involved in the Caribbean diaspora movement as a whole, it would be great for some of the St. Lucians, you know, and the wider Caribbean people just to make that link, because I'm sure there's a lot of cultural relationships that could be built across our different communities and across the whole diaspora globally. So that's definitely something we'll think about for next year's activities.
That would be great. That would be great. I'm sure we've got a lot of similarities.
Yes,
even with the landscape.
Of course, I'm sure. So, I mean, you've touched on it generally. So why should people specifically travel to the area? You know, so you've got those who've never been to a wetland park, you've got those who are experts, you know, travel to many places. So give us a sense of what would happen to, you know, some people of a certain age, you know, active people, people who understand, you know, about biodiversity. So give us a sense of what they could.
Well, iSimangaliso represents different things to different people. For some, it's the diverse tourism offering that the park has. And for others, it's just the sense of place that an individual would attach to the value of the place. And I guess for everyone, it is just a miracle of nature that is worth preserving for generations to come. People are spoiled for choice because of the diversity. And in terms of things to do in iSimangaliso, there's something to do for everyone. There are accommodation options that are ranging from camping, self-catering, to game lodges, as well as upmarket lodges or hotels. Recently, a United Kingdom's leading travel magazine, Wanderlust, ranked iSimangaliso as a must-see destination amongst top 38 travel destinations. And that was not a coincidence. It's because of what iSimangaliso has to offer. It's the sense of place that you get when you visit the place. I have personally spoken to various divers and travelers, people who travel for diving extensively around the world, and they rate iSimangaliso and Sodwana Bay specifically, which is part of iSimangaliso, as their #1 dive spot in the world. That's because of our clean, warm waters, it's the diversity of marine species that are there, but most importantly, it's for the healthy conditions of our corals that are found in our reefs. So we most probably owe all of that to the protection that is leveled by the Marine Protected Areas Convention. People seeking tranquility, unique and enriching travel experiences and diversity should definitely visit iSimangaliso. The activities range from boat cruises on the lake systems, it's deep sea fishing, it's horse rides, it's game drives in the Big Five reserves. It's whales when they come during winter. Right now, we have whales on our shores. We have the southern right whale. We have the humpback whale. If you haven't done that, you owe it to yourself. But there's also a ritual that occurs every summer month in iSimangaliso when turtles come out to lay eggs on the shores. I can't tell you how many times I've personally done that, but each time you do it, it's a unique and exhilarating experience. It's beautiful.
So it's definitely a destination for the whole family as well as groups of people, regardless of their background and age, from what you're saying.
That's true. Mm.
So as a brand manager now, and so what is your overall global vision now going forward over the next couple of years for the park?
Since 2020, we've had some challenges, unprecedented challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic, it has changed a lot of things. We had to quickly change our marketing strategy. We had to quickly revisit everything at the groups that we target in terms of marketing even. But we all need traveling and tourism much more now with all the challenges that we are faced with. In the marketing space, I would say we all need to start putting value to what we have. Local tourism is key, where one needs to really do as much as possible to visit the travel destinations at their doorstep, appreciate what we have. Time will soon come if we all comply to the protocols that have been put in place. We will soon be traveling and be able to see other places and other areas, international destinations as well. So I would say right now, appreciate your own, visit the local destinations as much as you can, and then stay home and as often as you can, protect yourself and do what you're supposed to do in terms of protecting yourself from COVID-19. But other than that, we need to learn as much as possible. Use this time to use these platforms like the one we've been presented right now. Learn as much as possible about all the destinations, what's out there, and start using the net to get the information that you can about the places, and then visit as soon as you can, as you are able to do that.
Excellent. So I can see great opportunities for collaboration with other tourism destinations. And I think what we've tried to do on this platform is link communities together. And we touched on it earlier on. So could you tell us a bit more in terms of the relationship with the local communities and the local economy?
iSimangaliso has a number of programs. There are areas in iSimangaliso where communities used to live in. Some were moved out of the park. That was way before the proclamation of the park as a heritage site, before the authority came about or iSimangaliso came about. But it was for various reasons where people would be moved so that the commercial plantations would come into the area because it's a wetland park. So they targeted those areas. So those people are beneficiaries to the park. And some were moved out because the military base would have to be set up in that area because of the vegetation that's here. People could come and hide and do all the activities they wanted to do. But the area has now rehabilitated itself. But our mandate said, because this area belonged to people, so when whatever developments that you do, people must come first and benefit. So we do that in a number of programs. One of the programs is we have a higher education access program where we send students from the neighboring communities to the universities, and they do the tourism and conservation related studies, so they can come back and work in areas like iSimangaliso. There's also access for communities that live in and around the park, where we ensure that people have days where they are able to visit the park. People that lived in that area would have free access into the park whenever they need to come into the park. We also create platforms for them to access now the businesses, the tourism businesses in the area, and position some, like the youth, to do tourism training, like the tour guides, for tour guides and hospitality, other courses that relate to hospitality. So there's a lot of other programs that we have. We have agreements with the communities to say whatever development that you have in place, the communities need to play part and be and benefit from all those programs. So there's a lot that's going on. We like to now and then invite the communities and make them part of the tours that we would have throughout the park. We also create jobs when we have opportunities for people to rehabilitate the area, to remove alien plants in the park so that it remains natural as it's supposed to be. We communities then benefit in terms of jobs during those programs. When we have developments, like right now we are building offices, new offices for iSimangaliso Wetland Park Authority. So the communities are building those infrastructure and roads and everything else that relates to that development. So yes, the communities are the main beneficiaries to the park.
And that's great, because again, that focus on young people, because we constantly say across all our platforms, young people need somewhere to go, and they need to learn, they need mentors,
direction,
how, and that, you know, that intergenerational relationships will be great for the future. So that's great. Excellent. Right. Finally, before we go, what is your message now for the rest of the world? Your final message for this week?
I would like to say to everyone, the challenges that we have right now have reminded us all to value what we have. So let's value what we have. Spend time with your family. Go outside at night. Look at the stars. You know, we are surrounded by beauty all around us. South Africa is just beautiful. KZN is just beautiful. There's lush vegetation and there's water bodies everywhere. It's a beautiful area. Go to the nearest areas around you and just relax. Take a breather, appreciate what you have. And let's take this time to, as I was saying earlier, take this time to just learn as much as you can about what other people are doing. Where can you contribute? How can you support others regain their strengths? We've all been challenged in a number of ways. The tourism has been hard hit when it comes to the COVID-19 challenges. What are people doing? What are they, or how can you support? When you visit the neighboring travel destinations, who's benefiting from that? Maybe you should ask yourself that. When I visit this place, who stands to benefit? How can I contribute? So maybe let's look at those areas right now. But other than that, our culture, as I'm now talking on behalf of the Zulu people in KwaZulu-Natal, our culture has always been visit your families. So our tourism to us was to visit. If you were unlucky that all your family members and your relatives lived in one area, you would hardly go anywhere. So right now, we know now that you don't only have to visit the areas where there's family. Let's start looking for other places. And it doesn't mean that tourism needs to be expensive. There are areas where you can go and spend much more less than you would if you were sitting at home, but you would gain much more in terms of your spirit revival.
Yes.
So let's do that. Let's go out, let's have fun, but be mindful now. Our environment need us to contribute for that sustainable conservation and tourism sustainability. We need to be out there. We need to contribute meaningfully to areas that would give back to us. So the environment does that for us.
Right, thanks for that. That is a comprehensive overview of the importance of community economic tourism and its contribution to long-term sustainable development. So, Thandi Shabalala, iSimangaliso Wetland Park Authority, it's been great to have this dialogue with you today, and look forward to catching up with you sometime in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.